We know from the Hidden World trailer that Toothless is now able to fly on his own. But how? We know from the first film that he lost his tail fin, and he has since had to rely on Hiccup to activate his mechanical manufactured tail fin that keeps him in the air, stabilizes him, and allows him to turn, like we see here. But did he grow it back, or was it something else? Time to make another video that I should have made a long time ago. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not very topical, very good at the staying with the times. So how does he do it? With the power of friendship! I don't think it's to do with the power of friendship, you soon-to-be yard clippings. So firstly, in a Christmas short called Gift of the Night Fury, this is quite a while ago, Hiccup actually designs a mechanical tail fin that allows Toothless to fly alone without him. To his shock though, Toothless takes it and vanishes. Hiccup became afraid that Toothless only stayed around because Hiccup had forced him to. He was unable to leave, but at the end of the story, Toothless comes back. Toothless returns and he actually destroys the tail fin. He didn't want to fly without Hiccup. He didn't like being alone. He didn't like the idea of not having to depend on Hiccup, which is kind of cute. And the answer is pretty simple. It seems that Hiccup will recreate this tail fin, or at least a version of it, for Toothless in the third film. And how do we know this? Well, Dean DeBlow recently tweeted this picture, which we can see has a prototype of the tail fin resting on the table. Toothless is eyeing it closely, and more importantly, we can see the schematics and measurements for a new tail fin in the background. And we've seen him actually design a new type of tail fin relatively regularly. It seems the natural evolution would lead towards a tail that allows him to fly without Hiccup. Which, of course, given the theme of the movie, flying on your own does seem like the natural conclusion to the story. I've always wanted to see Hiccup's inventiveness, a skill that I think is kind of underused, to play a bigger role in the story, so I'm really happy that they're including this. Now, apparently, thanks Magikov, giving Toothless this tail that allows him to fly on his own will result in Toothless leaving, probably pursuing the Light Fury, meaning that Hiccup will go off in search of him. So in this scene, Toothless clearly already has the tail. He's flying alone, and he seems to be pretty high up in the sky, as opposed to, say, just jumping off a cliff or whatever. He's right up in the clouds in the middle of a storm. I'm not sure when this will take place in the film. It's kind of hard to place, but I would put it somewhere near the latter half of the film, near the end, because it seems that Toothless is getting a massive power-up, sort of like we see what happens to him at the end of the second film. That sort of climax more naturally happens at the end of the story. Now, I would like to give credit to Silver Willowing for this point, but we can see at the beginning of the second film that Toothless can actually fly on his own. He does have a type of tail that allows him to fly on his own, sort of, because he can't really control his flight very much with it. We can see that he can glide more than anything else. This new tail fin would give him the ability to twist and turn and tumble and flip throughout the sky like we see him do with Hiccup all the time. And on top of that, this new tail would have to look as close as possible to the leathery black scales that Toothless has. He would want it to blend in. After all, he'd be fighting other dragons that challenge him with it. He'd be hunting with it. So he has to be able to blend in perhaps a lot more than he would currently when he's been living with Hiccup on Berk. And in a few scenes, we do actually see that Toothless seems to be flying with this new dark tail that misses the red and white designs that we're so used to. In this shot of him with the Light Fury, or where we can see him being captured by Grimmel, it does seem black, or at least grey, as to blend in with his scales. But it is a bit difficult to tell because of the lighting. And the thing is that this theory was confirmed by Dean DeBlow, the creator and director of the How to Train Your Dragon series at Annecy 2018, an animation festival where they showed off some of the secrets of the films to come. DeBlow left till last a scene where Hiccup constructs a new half-tail for Night Fury Toothless, allowing him to go and find his new love. That creates a bit of a dilemma for Hiccup. As much as he is enthusiastic for Toothless to go and find a mate, she clearly doesn't like humans and won't interact with him as long as anyone else is around. Now, there has been this image that's been circling around on a couple of other How to Train Your Dragon channels of Toothless with an explicitly black tail fin, but I haven't been able to find where it came from. However, as I mentioned before, it is probably going to be that colour to help him blend in and hunt and fight. One question we do have to ask though is how he's going to make it fireproof. One of the repeated problems that we see Hiccup and Toothless facing throughout the series is fire. They are often shot out of the air because the tail fin catches fire and then they crash together. Well, the thing is that we know in the third film that their new armor suits, like Hiccup's big black suit and Astrid's new blue suit, they're made of dragon scales. That's why they're good armor, because not only do they defend against swords and spears, but they fend off dragon fire, as dragon scales naturally do. It wouldn't surprise me if Toothless, when constructing this tail, used dragon scales that have, say, fallen off, like lizards shed skins, to put it together. This would make it fireproof and leathery black, making it look entirely normal. It's also notable in that image that the prototype we can see on the table is black. It's jet black, unlike the kind of brown and sometimes goldy white type ones we've seen Hiccup fixing to his tail before. Now, for those of you who want to know the second theory, oh my gosh, I forgot to do something. Hang on. I got some really amazing gifts, and I meant to put them on my shelf, so I'm gonna do that very quickly. Not even kidding, it's a Gandalf model from Weta. Isn't that just beautiful? Look at the detail, it's like he's been animated. I love it so much. And Saruman. Like, not even kidding, these would have been the ones that I picked if I got them. And this is Saruman with like the Palantir. I really love the style of these. Sorry, we'll get back to the How to Train Your Dragon stuff in like 10 seconds. There we go, and I am sending a letter out to you, Claire. Anyways, for those of you who want to know the second theory, it's possibly more interesting, or at least it's more lore intensive in terms of How to Train Your Dragon. It's to do with the somewhat mysterious concept of the Titan Wing. So, basically, Titan Wings are fully grown adult dragons. They often have new abilities, they look different, they're far larger, they have different markings. We've met a couple in the show, like the Singe-tail that Krogan rides in the series. They're the most powerful form that a dragon can take of that species, and the theory is that in this scene, Toothless matures physically, and as part of him becoming a fully grown Night Fury, he becomes a Titan Wing, and he undergoes a transformation that doesn't just make him more powerful, but it restores his broken tail fin. And in the real world, it's not really unheard of for lizards to regenerate lost limbs or tails, much like we could imagine a dragon being able to regrow a lost tail fin. And there is plenty of precedent for a Titan Wing transformation changing the dragon physically. And we also know that in order to hatch, a Night Fury egg has to be struck by lightning, usually on a mountaintop, or at least that's what an early promotional poster said. We haven't really had any mention of that since, but either way, it wouldn't be surprising if for a Night Fury to undergo this Titan Wing transformation, they have to be inside a lightning storm. Lightning has a lot to do with Night Furies. So what we could be seeing here is that Titan Wing transformation, healing him, restoring him. It all falls into place, right? Well, no. The lore around Titan Wings is pretty stringent at best. A lot of it comes from the game Rise of Berk, which is only semi-canon-ish at best, and we've only seen a couple of instances of it in the show and the films, and we have never seen a transformation of a non-Titan Wing to a Titan Wing, so we don't quite know what it could be like. We can't rely too heavily on Rise of Berk. It's far more likely and far more grounded for the first theory to be true, even if the second theory would be incredibly interesting. But that is all from me. Question of the day, what are you thankful for this Thanksgiving? Because, you know, most of you are American, and Americans do the whole Thanksgiving thing. I am thankful for the amazing day that I had yesterday, including getting those 2 Lord of the Rings bottles, which I adore, as well as a bunch of other really cool stuff that just went well for me. Long story. I'm happy for how yesterday went. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Though I do kind of wish that Thanksgiving was a thing here. There's nothing more satisfying than ripping the limbs off edible. Nothing at all. I like spending time with my family. Stay nerdy, and I'll see you in the future.